Shalom, shalom. In today's video, I will be covering the mystery of the 5 worlds, and I will also be leaving a link in the description to a new book that I'll be publishing soon. And here, there will be a free 10 gates of 32 gates. I encourage all who are watching this to click on the link and download it. It is absolutely free, and these 10 gates will help you enter into the Sod of the Torah. With that being said, let us begin. Using a standard 10-tree system in the linear aspect, we can view all of these worlds as they relate to Sephiroth, and understand that in the highest, they are all one root, meaning they are all one tree, and all of the worlds, though they appear different to the linear thinking mind, their roots are all in one unity. So the Kether is Adi Kanpin, and is the 5th world. Chokmah, and its Partzufim called Abba, is the world of Atziluth. And Bina, its Partzufim called Ima, is the world of Berea. And Zeranpin, which is Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod, Zeranpin being its Partzufim name, are these 6 Sephiroth, and it is the world called Yetzirah. And Malkuth, the final single Sephiroth, is Partzufim is called Nukva, and the world here is Asiya. So, with all of this being established, let us continue. These worlds are also categorized by the name Yod He Vav He, where Yod is in Atziluth, He is in Berea, Vav are those 6 Sephiroth of Zeranpin, and He is Malkuth. Now, what also is very important to understand here is that each one of the worlds have all of the Partzufims. So the Partzufim of Adi Kanpin, the Partzufim of Abba and Ima, the Partzufim of Zeranpin, and the Partzufim of Nukva are going to be found in Atziluth, in Berea, and in Yetzirah, and in Asaya. And they are stacked on top of each other. With this being established, let us continue. And understand that there is a link between the Kether, Chokmah, and Bina, which are always shown as one piece, often referred to as the Rosh, or the head. They are linked intimately to Malkuth. And what's important to understand is that the Malkuth of the preceding rung, or the previous rung, will always be enveloped by the respective Kether, Chokmah, and Bina in a circular aspect, very much like this, where Malkuth will be in the center, and it'll be surrounded by Ima, which is Bina, Abba, which is Chokmah, and Kether. And then that will continue on, both below and above. So with this being established, we see the circular aspect and the linear aspect. Let us continue. So with all of this being established, we've learned that all of the Partzufim are related to worlds, and that all of the worlds have all of the Partzufim. So essentially there's an Adi Kanpin for Asiya, Adi Kanpin for Yetzirah, Adi Kanpin for Berea, Adi Kanpin for Atziluth, and so on. And the secret of this is because Asiya has a Kether, Yetzirah has a Kether, Berea has a Kether, and Atziluth has a Kether. So now that we understand these basic principles, we've learned that all of the 5 worlds have all of the 5 Partzufims. We've learned their Sephirothic associations, and we've learned that they are stacked on top of each other in a very particular aspect. And we've learned the secret of Yod, He, Vav, He. So, with all of this being established, let's add one last thing. What you see before you is called the 231 gate cipher, and resources for the 231 gates can be found in Sefer Yetzirah and Emek HaMelech. So with these things being established, let us go over the basics. The 231 gate cipher is composite of 22 pieces for the 22 letters, and they essentially create 2 trees. One tree is called the fronts, and one tree is called the backs. And the fronts are 11 Sephiroth, and the backs are 11 Sephiroth. And it's understood by a linear aspect. Aleph is Kether, Beit is Chokmah, Gimel is Bina, Dalet is Da'ath, He is Chesed, Vav is Gevurah, Zayin is Tiferet, Chet is Netzach, Tet is Hod, Yod is Yisad, and Kaf is Malkuth, Lamed is Kether, Mem is the backside of Hokmah, Nun is the backside of Bina, and so on and so forth. And what's important to understand is that there's a link between Malkuth and Kether, the backside, which tells us that this entire tree is enveloped in this point of Kether in the tree of the backside, as has been demonstrated earlier when viewing the circular and the linear aspect. So the mystery of this is a tree on top of a tree, which helps us understand the construction of the worlds. Now let us continue. With all of this being established, we have learned about the 5 Partzufim, how they are reflective of the 5 worlds. We've learned that all the 5 worlds have all the Partzufims. We've learned about circular tree aspects, linear tree aspects, how the letters associate to the fronts and the backs. We've learned the mystery of a tree on top of a tree. And having all of these basic prerequisites, we can now enter into the slot of the Torah. If anybody would like to share the link in the description with any of their friends or anyone that they know or feel that can benefit from it, feel free to share the link anywhere you'd like to. Again, in the link in the description is a link to a free book. Inside of it you'll find 10 gates, and they will introduce you into the slot of the Torah and how to interpret it. In addition, I also have a Patreon. You guys can find me at Yira Ha'ari if you guys would like to support me there. With that being said, Shalom, Selah.